Injustice for All parts 1 and 2. I don't know what to feel about these episodes. I really don't. Truth be told, these were the uh, these were the two episodes I would always see when I tuned in to watch the show when it was regularly on. Somehow it would, I never gave the show much of a chance, but whenever I did, it was always these episodes for some reason. Um, I guess what it really is a game of who's fooling who at what point, and it seems to focus on. Interesting thing is, it focuses on the characters without special abilities. Of course, the characters with play an integral role, but if you were going to list minus the Ultra Humanite, which is really just a person transferring into gorillas. But anyways, the main players are Batman, uh, Lex Luthor, and the Joker. Which, if I can go on a short thing before I get back to it, they really animated the Joker well. My dog is weird. Uh, really well in these episodes. I mean, everything he does is so fluid, and I think they spent half the animation budget just on the Joker. I mean, everything he does is just so dynamic, and compared to everybody else, you're just like, wow, I know where they had their fun, and it is on the with the animation of the Joker. But it's all the thing. I mean, they catch Lex in the act of committing crimes, uh, by tricking him, and then he convinces the Human Knight to help him get out of jail, so he can get Luthor can get revenge. They have the whole kryptonite poisoning thing, which I'm not 100% sure. Was that it? I think that was a storyline in the 80s, I'm going to say, where they had Superman. Lex Luthor with kryptonite poisoning, and then I think they had a clone bot. I know they did that story. I don't know how they resolved it, but I am aware that they're pulling from that. But this is the founding of the Injustice Gang. Now, a friend of mine pointed out that I'm watching these in broadcast order as opposed to the order that they were supposed to be in. And it shows because we have the introduction of Copperhead and Star Sapphire, they have and Shade, who were in Fury, and Grundy. Who were in Fury late, which was supposed to be a later episode, but they were. This is the more where they get their introduction. So it's just odd. I mean, to watch it in that order and have people, be introduced to characters that you've already seen. It's kind of it's just an odd little quirk of how I'm watching these. Um, I don't know what else to say. I mean, it really. I don't dislike it. I think I've started to like it a lot less as time's gone by. Um, maybe I was a bit hyped because I was like, oh, here's one I know, and then I watch it and there's good stuff. And I mean, it's by no means bad. It's just I don't think it's held up to where I put it in my mind, and I don't feel. I mean, that the story overall is very satisfactory. What is Batman's journey in that? They have the whole thing where he's getting saved in the earlier part. I mean, is he trying to prove himself again, or is he just getting back on the horse? That's never really explained. I mean, it doesn't have to be. There doesn't always have to be a deeper message or more to a story than the surface. I'm not one of those people who's like, there must be meaning in everything. There has to be a message. And no, you can just have a good story. That's fine. But when you've had social commentary, you've had people doing back and forth and messages and things about tolerance and understanding and all this stuff before, to go to something which feels just like a cat and mouse story, who's tricking who. I mean, there's it did with, as far as I can see, no except the only lesson I could guess I take is you know, make sure people are doing things for the, why the reason you think people are doing things is the right reason or the same reason as you hope they are. And the only other thing is not to count out the human element, that the simple characters, Batman isn't simple. The non-powered characters, your Lex Luthor, your Batman, your Joker, that these characters matter and these characters can be important even when you're having, like, Superman next to the Joker. There's still possibly an element where the Joker matters, and I mean, I don't think that's a lesson I needed to learn, and so it doesn't affect me much, but maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm just reading way too much into it. Maybe I just should be like, it was fun. One thing I am getting tired of, and this one's guilty of it too, is the Batman just does crap off camera and we accept it. I had the same problem in the series opener when all of a sudden Batman shows back up, and they're like, well, are they going to explain how all that happened? Nope, Batman just did it. I don't like people going to that well very often because it seems lazy. It seems in here, the one that bugged me is they go to they have Batman, getting Grundy to attack the Humanite, gets the Cheetah, possibly sets her up. Or maybe he's just playing both against the middle because he can't know for certain that there's video cameras. He could assume that he's being monitored, and then there was that whole thing with the Watchtower bomb. But he couldn't know that for certain, even if he was planning ahead. The only thing he could argue logically is he was playing both those sides. He was trying to play Cheetah and the Humanite, and then maybe off each other, that if one gets nailed, the other one he still has available. So it works in his favor that Cheetah gets picked up, but not Grundy. You could assume not the Humanite. You can assume that the Humanite and Batman's exchange could have been anything from eye blinks to a conversation which doesn't need to the topic, but they're both running at such a high level that they don't say, but they can both infer everything. Which most of these problems would be solved if I don't know why I didn't do it. It was because you think like, gag Batman. Do not let Batman talk to you. You're bad guys. He's Batman. His mind is his deadliest weapon. You have not stopped him as long as he can still talk. But that's getting away from what I wanted to say. What bugged me was it getting out of restraints. Now, I know that Batman trained as an escape artist and had all these years of training with Zatanna's father. Zatanna's father, Zatara. Yeah, the Zataras. And then him and Zatanna had this thing. So he learned, like, Houdini level lockpicking and things, and you could go, okay, that's how but you don't set that up. You don't see him futz with a lockpick or have something, secreted away that he could get to. You know what? Just give me that. Give me that. Maybe there was, there was some Cheetah claws into him. He gets there to claw into him, and then he can somehow get to the claw and then use that as a pick. Any of those things, just give me a little something, not he's out. Especially they're supposed to work. They take the whole thing. They take his. There's a whole thing of getting into his utility belt. I mean, he's supposed to be gadgetless. He's supposed to be. They've searched him. He's got nothing. How the hell does he get out? I mean, he did some technique where he can dislodge one of his bones. Just something, anything. I don't care if it's nonsensical. Not just, and he did it. I don't. I don't care for when they do that. Um. So, nah. I'm not. I'm no. I'm disappointed. All the good points, like the Superman Lex Luthor exchange when he finds out being poisoned, and all that's just seemed kind of lost in this weird jambalaya that doesn't seem to mesh into something greater than the sum of its parts. It's just a fun story, and I'm cool with fun stories, but it doesn't commit to anything. I think it wants to have a message but doesn't, and I think it wants to be just fun, and it mostly succeeds. But the blending of that two without letting one dominate the other just ends in something kind of. Jeez, there's a lot of noise today when I try to do this. I can't win. Uh, this ends in kind of a meh. I'm ready to move on. I'm not gonna, I have no intention of revisiting this one in the future, which is kind of sad. But this should be one that I'm really excited about. But especially because I really do like when Lex Luthor and Batman have back and forth. They did it like in the Batman. They had Superman the animated series, and then they had the crossover with Batman, and they had the whole thing where Lex Luthor met Batman, and it was like all cocky, and Batman put him in his place. That I love. That I was like, that was great. This is just, I'm gonna quit. There's banging and noise and dogs, so I'm done. All right, now on to the next one.